Hello everybody, I'm Catriona Morten, I'm a sensory-motor psychotherapist, and today I'd like to talk to you about when trauma seems to come from nowhere. When things happen and we've been fully functional 1 minute and then we can't function, everything just seems to fall to pieces. But before I go into that, if you're enjoying these videos then please give us a like and subscribe to our channel because it really helps us get out to more people and to put the word out. What do I mean by when trauma seems to come from nowhere? I've come across so many people that have been really fully functional. They've had great jobs, they've had positions of responsibility, they've had, perfectly okay family situations, and then suddenly everything seems to fall to pieces. And while this seems to come from nowhere, there's always a reason for it. There's always things that lie behind it. The first thing to say about this is that we've all had some kind of traumatic experience growing up. When we're little, everything feels very overwhelming. And those things can be lodged in our amygdala. We can have some really serious trauma happen to us and recover completely and, move on, put it behind us and get on with life. But those things get lodged in our amygdala, which is like our smoke detector part of our brain, and they stay sealed in there. And they can stay sealed in there. They can stay completely undetected, not bother us at all. They might show up in some kind of behaviours. There might be certain things that we just don't like doing, but no big deal. Nothing that really gets in the way at all. None of us know what's lodged in our amygdala. And not to be kind of scary about it, but we've all got things in there that can resurface, that can be poked. And sometimes there can be a number of reasons why those things resurface. Either there's been just too many things, too many stressors, all happening one after another. Maybe too many difficult life events. One that we could deal with, two, maybe okay, three, and we're out of our capacity to deal with it. Or we might have an accident or a bereavement or something that happens to us that seems to be completely disconnected from anything else, but out of the blue. I've known people have something happen to them and suddenly they can't get in their car and drive anymore. It's like, what is that about? For some people, the traumas that have lain dormant just all resurface and suddenly they can't go out. They feel terrified of everything but have no clue why. It's just that everything is just really difficult. And while it might be okay to look at those events and say, well, maybe it was that, when we've had such a serious reaction to things and now we're pretty debilitated by our trauma, and I know a lot of people that this has happened to, then often the last thing that we think or assume has happened is an old trauma is now triggered and playing itself out. This fear isn't coming from nowhere. This inability to go out, this inability to get in my car and drive, this terror of people, however it is that it is impacting us, it's come from somewhere. It's about something. A very good way of dealing with that is EMDR, because it helps us process these resurgent memories. It helps us process what's going on right now, where it's gone back to, and to be able to get to the original trauma. But obviously, not everybody's got access to EMDR and not everybody wants to go and put themselves through EMDR. Sometimes those things are so far back that they're childhood experiences. And we have no living memory, we've got no narrative of what happened. We just feel. Some people can suffer really debilitating agoraphobia out of the blue. A couple of things have happened, but it doesn't explain. Now, why can't I go out? Why do I feel so vulnerable, so fragile, so terrified? And I wasn't before. There's a trauma that's playing itself out in the background. It will be making itself known through the body, through the behaviour, through the fears, but it can be really, really hard to identify what it is. We might not have any flashbacks, we might not have any recurring nightmares or any intrusive memories that come up from it, but we're feeling it. And so for, all of those things, we don't need the story. The body will tell its story. It's already showing its reaction to things. It's already playing the fears out. And the way that we work with that is by acknowledging what's happening to the body. What's dysregulated, what's being affected. Is it difficult to breathe? How does a fear manifest itself? Knowing that this is something that's playing out in the past and we need a really serious present moment experience, things that we can really, really feel that are going on right now. We can use our senses for that. We can use smells, touches of things. When we're in the past and we're not in the present, we need to have a sense of our body, of being able to squeeze and rub our arms and our legs. It's like, yes, I can feel myself, I'm here, and now I can start to try and regulate what my body's doing that's causing me so much distress, and finding ways of settling it. The body will also tell its story of what it is. When we sense into these things, other things will show up. When we explore frozen parts of our body, what's frozen, what's been frozen in time in that place, and what's the emotions that lie behind it. The body will tell its own story, but we have to be able to allow it to. It's not plucking things out of there, making things up. Bodies can't do that. It's a real thing about a real experience. Just because we don't know what that experience is, it doesn't diminish what's happening. But there are really, really good ways of being able to sense into the body, recognise what it's doing, learn to read the information that it's giving you, not viewing it as a problem, and being able to either track and follow, to allow something to complete that wasn't able to complete. If we've got frozen, how can we unfreeze it? What other parts of our body can we move? Does that help release the frozen energy and maybe some of the emotion that's trapped inside? The body wants to heal. It wants to be able to do it. And we have to give it permission to do that, and permission to be listened to and taken seriously. So when we're going through life and we're going to have big life events, having a baby or getting married even, or getting divorced, moving a house, moving away from the family house, can bring up all sorts of things that are connected. And there's a little chain that connects them, even though things feel completely unrelated. But your body can't make things up. It reacts to things. Your nervous system will be triggered by something that happens in your brain. And when we know that we've been fully functioning people, and it's like, why can't I do that? It can be really, really terrifying. Am I ever going to get back to that? Yes, you can. But we've got to deal with this first. And just medicating it isn't going to help it process and heal. We've got to be able to work with it and work with the fear that comes with it. Get ourselves a really good bag of resources that work for us. If we're feeling completely wobbly and our legs turn to jelly, or we're dissociating, what helps bring you back? What helps? Does it help to push your feet into the floor? Does it help you to get a sense of strength in your body? To get a sense of strength in your body, you need to be able to feel strength and feel your muscles working. When we put our hands together like this and push, what we're doing is we're engaging a full circle of strength around our body. So we're pushing in, we're creating our own strength, we're feeling our own strength. Now, when some people go to do that, they might say, oh no, they're really wobbly. Oh, okay, that's brilliant, good to know. Is this easier? When you put your hands together and link your fingers together and pull, it's a completely different force. That one's a pushing together, this one's a pulling apart. And again, it gives that complete circle of strength that's coming through the body. This can be a lot easier for some people because you're not requiring your muscles to work, but you're kind of putting resistance in. And when you do it, you hold it for a few seconds, and then release it. Do you feel a bit more present? Can you breathe a little bit? And it's not just that first initial breath, it's the ones that follow afterwards, the subsequent breaths. Has it eased a little bit of space? If you can feel yourself going into a bit of a freeze, everything's going really, really cold and really, really still, you might be feeling a little bit more distant. Do things look as sharp? Are you really looking and seeing things? No, I'm just sort of scanning the room and I just feel a little bit far away. Things might sound a bit more distant and we just don't feel like we're so much in the room. Does it help to create a bit of chi energy? Can you rub your hands together? You feel that friction and that heat. When you create some chi energy made by your body's really familiar with it. When you create that heat and that friction and then you feel it, can you feel that chi energy buzzing through your body? Does it make you feel a little bit more here and connected? The minute you get either a release of breath or, oh yeah, I feel a bit more present, then that's one of your tools. Keep doing those things because they work. Your body's telling you that they work. Your body's giving you a clue. And so if you can notice what is happening, if, say, your fear is starting to build, the anxiety is starting to build, are your arms gluing themselves into your sides? If the answer is yes, it's going to be really hard to just go, oh, just move them. Because if fear's driving it, they're not going to want to move out. So we join in with it. Your body's giving you a clue. So I'll say, how about we just increase that? Can you really squeeze that? Can you join in? Can you either take it over or just join in with it? It helps your body get the message that you've recognised it, you see what's happening, you're not fighting against it. You give it a really good squeeze. Really squeeze that as hard as you can. Hold it, and when you're going to release it, can you do it really, really slowly? Can you release things? Often when things are really, really tight, even with shoulders and necks, we hold a lot of tension in here, and it's a really common place for trauma to lodge itself. A lot of people get frozen shoulders, they've got really bad stiff necks, problems with their back. If you can feel that your shoulders are really, really tight, can you squeeze them? Instead of just going, oh, I need to try and relax. They're not going to just undo. A massage will do it, but they'll go back again really quickly. When you squeeze into something that's already tight, and it's, might sound like, well, that's the worst thing you could do, but give it a go. So if you've got really, really tight shoulders and neck, can you give them a really good squish, or can you really press them up to your ears and hold it? Hold it and really feel those muscles working. And then when you release it, you take out the effort that you've put in and do the muscles underneath. Just kind of lengthen and relax and just let go a little bit. If the answer is yes, that's in your toolbox. Make a note of them, because if your anxiety levels go up and your nervous system's gone off, you probably go offline, just into panic mode. If you're going into panic mode, concentrate on your out breath, because you'll be breathing in way too much. And if it works for you, write it down. Can you lengthen that out breath to 4, to 5, to 6? Can you take all your awareness just to that out breath? Your in breath will take care of itself. You'll just automatically take a deep breath, concentrate again, counting with your out breath. Can you make sure that your out breath is as long as it can? It gives you a sense of control over what you're doing. It gives your head a task to work on, and you can't help but be mindful when you're doing it. So when you feel like something helps, make a note of it, because when you're offline, you won't be able to think. Have them somewhere on your phone, stuck to the fridge, and just follow the instructions. Write them out as you will understand them and follow them, do them. These are my go-to tools, because I'm going to try and regulate my nervous system, settle myself, and get the fear that the body is physically showing you. It's got physical symptoms to it. When you can manage those physical symptoms, everything just reduces. And every time you do that, you're widening your window of tolerance. So you're building your resilience, you're building up your coping capacity in order to do this. You might need to be doing this 2 or 3 times a day, but that's okay, because the more your window widens, when these things go off in your amygdala, they don't have such an impact. They don't take your nervous system out with it, because you've got a lot more capacity to deal with. Things can reduce our capacity. Too many stresses, being tired, not sleeping, being really, really anxious, and they just work in a vicious circle with each other. Begin working with this, and everything will just feel a bit more manageable, and you'll feel that you're in control instead of, oh my God, what's happening to me? What's going on? Ah, I know what to do. That settled it. That's really empowering. It can feel that instead of everything out there being a big, big threat, no, we've got this. We've got this. And the traumatized parts will feel way, way, way more taken care of, knowing that there's, somebody driving the bus, that it's not just completely out of control and nobody can put the brakes on. Yes, we can put the brakes on our nervous system, settle it down, and bring ourselves back into a more present place and feeling a bit more safe. Because the past and the traumas, where the scary thing is, the present is safe and stable and strong. So I really hope that helps. One, explain how things can just come from nowhere, come from sideways, cut you down, and have a big impact in your life. It's not all a mystery. A lot of it is past trauma. And I hope that resonates with you. If you've got any comments, any questions, just send them in. We'll love getting them. So if you've enjoyed watching this video, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and I look forward to seeing you again really soon. Bye.